What up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Matt Wyatt. So I got around to checking out the new Ryan Coogler film that is a horror thriller and a period piece film called Sinners, in which this is supposed to be taking place in Mississippi in the 1930s, and it's telling the story about the twin siblings who are brothers, played by Michael B. Jordan himself, who are World War I veterans that came back into the town that they grew up in to start fresh and start a new nightclub of their own, only later to find out that an evil has emerged. This is a film that I was really looking forward to. I was watching the trailer and I was like, oh God, I never thought that Ryan Coogler can want to make a movie like this, that it's taking place in the 1930s during that time period. And if you don't want to know anything about what happens in the second half of the film, and you don't want to see any of the surprises, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it was already spoiled in the trailer, and I've seen two trailers and it's already been shown. But if you have not watched any of the trailers, I say you should go in blind as possible, but that's just my opinion. But if not, if you don't really care, then just watch it away. Yeah, I never thought that Ryan Coogler can make a vampire movie like this. By the time you get to this is the first half of the film, for the like at least the first hour, you get a great character build up with the twin brothers, Michael B. Jordan, and you get a lot of their character depth. They are World War I veterans who have left the home to start life in Chicago, and especially in the mafia life, and then they want to go back into the town because the Chicago rejected them and they wanted to start fresh and start a nightclub. And I loved how two of them who had the same goals, but they're two different people. And what Michael B. Jordan did a great job of playing two separate characters, especially when we have every frame of the shot when they're both in the scene together, and how they did it in the editing room was absolutely brilliant. It was believable. Like this was like another level that they did right than what the Flash movie could not have done, when you have Ezra Miller playing two different Barry Allens, or when you see the Winklevosses from The Social Network, that you can look back on that film and feel like it worked at that time, but at the time one person and the other looked like there's a body double with a CG face. But it seems to me that they might have like filmed separate scenes and then paste it all together in the same scene together. That's my guess. I don't know how Ryan Coogler was able to pull that off, but he did it incredibly well. After watching this movie, I will say that this movie lived up to the hype. I love how in the first hour of the film you get into the period piece drama and you get into a lot of the character depths as they were setting up, while with the twin brothers who are inviting a lot of the people they know to come in and orchestrate this whole charade. And I love that they gave us a lot more character depth, that you really care about them, and you almost forgot that you're watching a vampire movie. You really forgot about it. By the time you get to the second half of the film, when all hell breaks loose and the vampires come in and starts wrecking shop, it becomes more of a From Dusk Till Dawn vibe to it. It definitely felt like that Ryan Coogler took notes from the Robert Rodriguez directorial film From Dusk Till Dawn, especially that it was written by Tarantino. And it does come off a little bit of a Django Unchained vibe from a Tarantino movie. It does come from the first half of the film, because it does address some of the racism in the movie, because this is supposed to be in the 1930s. So yeah, there were racism back in the day, and they do address it, but they did it in a subtlety way, and they never shove it down your throat. And I will say that one of the one who is the heart of the movie is the Michael B. Jordan's the twin brothers, their cousin Sammy, who is an aspired musician, a blues jazz musician, and it's played by Miles Caton. Caton, I'm sorry if I'm butchering his last name, but when he's on screen, his voice is so distinct and he brings so much presence, especially when he sings and plays the guitar, especially when you're at the club. There is a one-shot sequence, without spoiling anything. I mean, this is just a minor little spoiler. They show you the visions of the whole visuals through the musicians throughout time and history, from past, present, and future. I mean, it was a great sequence, but I felt like that the scene kind of felt misplaced, and it was very unclear of what Ryan Coogler was trying to do. And I will say that Ryan Coogler's direction was absolutely great. I mean, he was coming off of the heels of the Black Panther movie. He did Wakanda Forever, obviously from an IP cinematography. But before that, from the beginning, he started off directing Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan. And throughout every movie that he directed, he worked with Michael B. Jordan. They have this whole close friendship between the two of them, and he puts him in every movie he's in. But he never tries to shove him in there for the sake of it. He puts him in the role that fits for him. And Michael B. Jordan is incredible when Ryan Coogler is directing him. And Michael B. Jordan's always incredible at any movies, and he has an incredible charisma. He can play a supporting role, but he also can carry a movie. He is a great leading man. He's been known that from the start, ever since Fruitvale Station, and then he did Creed, which I was one of the best of the Rocky franchise, and it really revived that whole franchise when that movie came out. I will say that Wakanda Forever was a little bit of a step down from the first one. I thought it was a disappointing for many reasons, but I won't go into it too much. But I will say that the costume designs, the period piece of the 1930s was authentic and more realistic, and the vehicles, the costumes was beautiful. It was a texture, it was so detailed. And this is the first time that Ryan Coogler shot in a 70 millimeter film camera and the IMAX film camera at the same time, especially when you're seeing different sequences that were changing the aspect ratio. This movie is meant to be seen in IMAX screen. You will get immersed into the experience. The music score, the composer's name is Ludwig Göransson. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. I'm not good at pronouncing it. Yeah, he is best known to do the music composer on all of Ryan Coogler's movies, including the Black Panther franchise and even Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. And then he is going to be doing the upcoming movie of The Odyssey that is also directed by Nolan. Ryan Coogler is becoming now one of the biggest names of director in Hollywood since like Nolan and Denis Villeneuve and Jordan Peele. I mean, he is definitely on fire. He did a great job of shooting on 70 millimeter film and even IMAX film that is meant to be seen in IMAX. This and I love the whole cast. I think they were fantastic. Hailee Steinfeld was definitely great in the movie. I wish that we would have got a little bit more character depth with her, but I thought she was used very well. The chemistry between her and Michael B. Jordan was absolutely terrific. And I will say that the one that stole the spotlight was Delroy Lindo, who is playing a drunken musician who plays the harmonica. But Delroy Lindo is an incredible actor, and every time he's on screen, he completely steals the spotlight. I loved it. It had some funny, dark humor moments. And yeah, once the vampire shows up, they never hold anything back on the stakes, the body count, the blood and gore. It gets crazy in the last 30 minutes of the movie. It's freaking amazing. Now, look, I will give a couple of my negatives. I will say that the single shot sequences of the whole visual music of throughout history was kind of a one thing I was a little bit off. Not to say I didn't like the scene, but I just didn't think it was really needed. It felt out of place. And and I will say that the movie went a little bit too long than it did. I wish they would have trimmed down at least 5 to 10 minutes, but that's just me. But once I watch this movie again, I'll have a better appreciation the more I watch this on repeat. And I'm probably going to get around to watching this movie again in theaters at some point. And I will say that one of my favorite characters was the character Annie, who was playing the love interest of Michael B. Jordan, one of the twin brothers. And her character, she is so spiritual, and she is very well aware about the whole supernatural and all the evil beings that live in among us. I thought that was really good. And with the character Sammy, like, he did not want to follow in his father's footsteps by becoming a preacher, and his father does not want him to become a musician because that is the devil's music from his point of view. But Sammy is all about a musician. He wants to get away from this life and go off into the world. But Michael B. Jordan's character, his cousin, does not want him to do that because there's not going to be life for him out there anyway, because they will reject you just because. And I thought that they did it so well. But overall, this is definitely the best film and probably the best horror film that came out this year so far. We're right now in closer to the second half of 2025, because the first half of the movies for 2025, we haven't have a lot of banger movies lately. I mean, I will say Companion and Mickey 17 were one of the better films of this year, but I will say that with Sinners, it's easily the best one we've seen. I'm not going to say that this is my favorite movie of the year or it's my top 3 or top 5. I'm not ready to say that yet because there's still more movies to come in the second half of 2025. But I will say, I think that this movie does deserve an Oscar nomination, including Michael B. Jordan's performance. He's great and he keeps hitting it out of the park. Overall, I'm going to give Sinners a rating a 9 out of 10. This is a movie that I highly recommend you should check it out on the biggest screen as possible. Ryan Coogler crushed it. He's becoming a little bit more like Nolan, where he's not just directing IPs. He directs an IP, kind of like Black Panther, for instance, and then he goes on to direct another original project. Yeah, sure, Sinners is basically the Django Unchained meets From Dusk Till Dawn that was combined into one, but they still gave us a different viewing experience and put an original stamp of his own. And that's why what I appreciate about Ryan Coogler, and that's why I will always choose to support original movies, and I think you should too. I understand that the tickets prices are very expensive, and it's very hard to do, especially when you're taking a group of your friends or your spouse to see a movie like this. But anyway, what did you think of Sinners? Did you enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this review, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you know when my videos are up. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.